Elijah Brooks wasn't wearing a suit, just a navy hoodie and jeans. A duffel bag slung across his shoulder and a peaceful, quiet look on his face. He was heading back to D.C. after visiting his mother in Houston. It had been a long few days, checking in on her recovery after surgery, preparing her meals, and ensuring her home was stocked and safe. She never liked to ask for help, but Elijah made time between assignments because he owed her everything. Seat 14A, window seat. He quietly made his way to his row, offering a soft, "Excuse me," to the two passengers already standing to let him pass. He sat down, popped in one earbud, and closed his eyes. The peace lasted about 5 minutes. "Excuse me." A shrill voice broke the rhythm of boarding. "There must be some mistake. I'm supposed to sit here." A white woman in a bright red blazer and designer purse stood staring at Elijah. The flight attendant, still assisting other passengers, stepped over. "Yes, ma'am. That's 14B, your seat is right there." The woman blinked, then pointed to Elijah. "I'm not sitting next to him. I don't feel safe." Elijah slowly opened his eyes. He kept his posture calm, collected. He'd heard variations of this before. "Ma'am, this passenger is in his assigned seat," the attendant replied, her voice uncertain. "I don't care. I paid for comfort. I expect it." "You don't know what someone like him might be carrying," she said, her voice rising enough for other passengers to glance over. A murmur rippled through the cabin. Elijah didn't flinch. He didn't get angry. He had learned, through years of facing silent and loud racism, that responding with calm often said more than any argument could. Still, it stung. The woman continued, "I want him moved. Or I want another seat. Now." The flight attendant, clearly shaken, radioed for the captain. Elijah took a deep breath, slowly reached into his backpack, and pulled out a slim black case. He opened it gently and held it up. The cabin fell into silence. Inside the case was his identification, Special Agent Elijah Brooks, Federal Bureau of Investigation. The captain had just arrived at the scene when he saw the badge. "Is there a problem here?" the captain asked, already knowing the answer. The woman turned white. I didn't know." Elijah looked her in the eye. "You never asked." She stammered, "I didn't mean anything by it, I just—" "You assumed," Elijah replied, softly but firmly. "And that assumption says more about you than it does about me." The captain nodded respectfully at Elijah, then turned to the woman. "Ma'am, unless you're willing to give up your seat, I suggest you sit down quietly. We will not tolerate discrimination on this flight." She hesitated, then dropped into the middle seat, looking straight ahead. The rest of the flight was quiet. But the impact of that moment rippled long after they landed. One young man sitting behind Elijah leaned forward before disembarking. "I've never seen someone handle something like that with so much grace." "Thank you." Another woman quietly said, "My son's watching. You gave him an example he won't forget." Elijah smiled, nodded, and left the plane. He hadn't meant to teach a lesson. He was just heading home. But that day, he reminded everyone watching that strength isn't always loud. That dignity doesn't need a platform. That assumptions can shatter in silence. And that sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is hold your truth with quiet pride.